Hi, so in today's video I'm going to show you how I created this unique fold card, which is a tri-fold shutter card using ScanNCut Canvas. So in the next part of the video I'm going to go to Canvas and show you how I created it, but I just wanted to show you how to assemble it. To save some time, I've put all my matting layers of my pieces together, and this is the basic card that you'll cut. Now, on the 2, 4, 6 and 8 score lines, basically what you need to do is do a mountain fold and then a valley fold, then a mountain fold and a valley fold. And then on the middle section you do the opposite, so you mountain and valley, and then it will all fold up together. And then assembled, this is how it's going to look. Turn it over, give it a rub. That's how it's looking now, and then it folds up like that. So when it opens, that's the effect that you get. So you can put extra panels here and here so that when it closes you've got pattern paper there as well if you want to. But that's just another in the series of shape cards that I've been showing you over the last few months. So I hope you found that helpful. As I say, the next part of the video will be in Canvas showing how I actually created all this. Okay, so continuing the theme with the unusual shape cards. This card is called a tri-fold shutter card, and it was popular many years ago, but it seems to be making a bit of a comeback. So I'm going to show you how I would make it using ScanNCut Canvas, but obviously you can do it however you prefer. There seems to be a couple of different sizes that you make this card. 5 1/4 by 11.5 or 6 by 12 seem to be the kind of two popular sizes. Just to keep the maths simple for this video, I'm going to make it 6 by 12, but obviously once this is made and all grouped together, you can size this down to fit on any size card you want to. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to View, and I'm going to remove the map properties, just so I've got a plain white working space. I'm going to come to the basic shapes. I'm going to choose this rectangle and I'm going to make it 6 by 12. So I'm going to untick maintain aspect ratio because I want to size it independently. So I'm going to make this 6.0, and then here I'm going to make it 12.0. Okay, so that's the basic card at the moment. Now I'm going to bring on a couple more rectangles. So the first one I'm going to size, again keeping maintain aspect ratio unticked, so 6.0, and I want to make this one 2.0, so 6 by 2. And I'm just going to put it over here. Now I'm going to select that, right click and hit duplicate, and on the duplicate I'm going to make it 6 by 4. So it's already 6 high, I'm going to make it 4 inches wide. Okay, and then while this one's selected, I'm going to hit duplicate again, and then this time I'm going to hold the shift key down and rotate it, and this one I want to make 8 inches wide by 1.5 inches high. So 1.5 by 8. and then you'll see how I'm going to use all these in a few minutes. Now, just to make it easier to see, I'm going to select these three, and with them all selected, I'm going to come to the properties box and I'm going to make them red, just so they stand out from the black of my base card here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this one, which is 6 inches high by 2 inches wide, and I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to select the main base card and the 6 by 2. I'm going to go to edit, align left, and edit, align bottom, and that's just going to put this 6 by 2 directly lined up with the left edge. Then I'm just going to click anywhere to deselect. Now I'm going to come to the path icon and select it, and I'm going to hover over the top of this red rectangle, and this box will appear. And once I see that box, I'm going to left click once and let go. So I'm now not holding my mouse. I'm going to hold the shift key down on my keyboard, and without pressing anything on the mouse, I'm just going to drag the mouse down, and as you'll see, I've got a perfectly straight line. I'm going to bring it back up until I see a box appear at the bottom, and then I'm just going to left double click, and that anchors that line. And while it's selected, I'm going to come to the properties box. Just for the video, I'm going to make it green, and then I'm going to change it to a cut line and to a dash line, and then just move the properties box out of the way. Now I'm going to left click over here where this red rectangle is, and I'm just going to move it out of the way. So now I've got a 6 by 12 base card with a dash line at 2 inches. I'm going to select just both of those, right click and group, and I'm just going to put that 6 by 2 on one side. Now I'm going to bring in the 6 by 4. I'm just going to select these two, because remember, this big base card and the dashed line are a group. So I'm just selecting these two. I'm going to go to edit, align left, and edit, align bottom, and then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to come to the path icon. I'm going to hover over here until this box appears, left click once and let go. Press the shift key down, and then without pressing anything on my mouse, just drag my mouse down until I get to the bottom and I see that square again. Then I'm going to double click on my mouse, and that will highlight it. Again, I'm going to change it to green just so it can be seen. I'm going to make it a cut line. I'm going to make it a dash line, and then I'm just going to click anywhere off the page to deselect. And then I'm going to click on this red rectangle. Now, as you can see, the red rectangle must be behind because I've clicked within this red area, but it's selected this main card base. So I'm going to right click and hit center back, and then I'm just going to click in this red rectangle again, and this time it selects it and I can drag it out of the way. Now I'm going to select both of these and go right click and group. So now I'm going to bring my 6 by 2 in, bring it back over here, select both of these, and then this time I'm going to go edit, align right, and edit, align bottom. Left click anywhere on the page to deselect, go back to my path tool, and again I'm going to come over here and hover until I see the square. Left click, let go, hold the shift key down, drag a straight line out, double click to anchor it. I'm going to go to the properties box, make it green, make it a cut line, and make it dashed. And again, I'm going to select everything and right click and group. Now I'm going to bring in the 6 by 4. Select both, edit, align right, and edit, align bottom. And then again, I'm going to come to the path icon, come over here until I see the box, left click, let go, hold the shift key down, which gives me a perfectly straight line, and then just move the mouse back up without pressing anything until I see the square box. Double click to anchor it. And again, I'm going to make it green, I'm going to make it a cut line, and I'm going to make it a dash line. Then I'm going to left click where this red rectangle is, and again it must be at the back because it's highlighting the whole card, so I'm going to right click, send that to back, left click off the page to deselect, and then left click again where the red rectangle should be so I can select it and drag it out of the way. Group, right click, send to back, and then I should be able to click that. I forgot to move it out of the way. So I've now got a 6 by 12 with score lines at 2, 4, 8 and 10. So I'm going to select everything, right click and group. Now I can get rid of this 6 by 2 and I can get rid of the 6 by 4. I want to bring in the 1.5 by 8. So this is all a group now, this 6 by 12 and the 4 dash lines. So I'm going to select both of these shapes. I'm going to go edit, center, which is going to put this 1.5 by 8 centrally on the card. And then I'm going to go edit bottom, and I'm going to align this on the bottom edge, which will give me as it's 1.5 inches tall, I can now put my cut line in here. So I'm going to come back to the path tool. I'm going to bring my mouse over, hover over this left hand corner of the red rectangle, left click once, hold my shift key down, drag my line out till I get my square, double click. This time I'm just going to make it a cut line and nothing else. Now I want to select the rectangle, but again it must be at the back, because it's selecting the whole card. So I'm going to right click and send to back, and I'm going to click on here until I get the rectangle. I'm just going to remove it off the page for now and select all this and right click and group. Now I always use the right click, but you can go to edit and group if you want, or group and ungroup. So now I'm going to bring this back in. I'm going to select the two shapes. This time I want to edit center, and I want to edit it and line it up to the top. Then I'm going to come back to the path icon. I'm going to come down here until I get to this corner and I see the square. Left click, let go, hold the shift key down, drag my line out, double click to anchor it. And again, I just want this to be a cut line. Then I can close that down. Now I'm going to left click anywhere to deselect, and I'm just going to click the rectangle, but again the rectangle's gone behind, and I know that because it's selecting the whole card. So I'm going to right click, send to back, left click anywhere off the page to deselect, and just click and get this rectangle and delete it. And then I'm going to select everything, and again you can right click or you can go edit group. So I've now got a 6 by 12 card with score lines at 2, 4, 8 and 10, and cut lines that are 1.5 inches down from the top at 2 to 10, and 1.5 inches up from the bottom at 2 to 10. So that's the basic card. Now you might want to add your matting layers, and you can do this several ways. These should be fairly easy because these were put in at 2 and 4, so this is 2 inches wide by 1.5 inches. So if I get a rectangle, and let's say I want to make it 1/4 inch smaller, 1.25 by 1.75, and that should fit on there. And this is because the space between the two green dash lines is 2. So if I make it 1.75, it's 1/4 inch smaller. And the space between the top of the card and this cut line was 1.5. So again, to make it 1/4 inch smaller, it needs 1.25. Now I should be able to duplicate that 4 times, and they should sit in these spaces here. This section here is 4 inches wide. So if we make a basic shape that's 3.75. So the depth is, this is 1.5 and this is 1.5, so that's 3, and the whole card was 6, so this is 3 inches. So if we make it 2.75 by 3.75, it should be the right size to fit in there. Now, to make these, you can either plot it with the path tool, or there's an icon down here that's a similar shape. If I hold the shift key down and rotate it, if you bring this one in, first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to align them by the top. So they're both aligned horizontally together. And I'm just going to right click and group them. And then this one, and hold my shift key down and select this one, and I'm going to align these by the bottom. So they should line up and make them a group. And then I can position them roughly where I want them. Now, I'm going to bring this one in, and I'm going to, by eye, just kind of make it about 1/4 inch. And I'm going to line the top of it up with this rectangle. Then I'm going to squash it in. I'll try and zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to squash it in so that this line here is about the similar distance from the green dotted line as it is from this edge. Then I'm just going to drag this out until the depth here looks about the same as it is there. Then I'm going to double click on it to expose the nodes, and then I'm just going to bring the nodes back up until they're just under this red line, and drag them out. Hope this is making sense. I'm just manipulating them, so I'm trying to get an even distance all the way round. And I'm lining these lines up with these right edges. Again, you could put guidelines in, you could put a path line in, make a big path line and do it that way. But just for the video, I'm just showing you the process that I do. Now I'm going to left click to deselect, then I'm going to click it to select it, right click, make a duplicate, go to edit and flip it horizontally. And then I'm going to slide over so you can see, and hopefully this one fits in here now. So there are your matting layers. Now obviously if you want to double mat it, you need to select your shape and go to edit, offset, and create an offset of however much you want on the inward, and say OK. And that gives you an inward, and then obviously you could duplicate that, edit, flip it horizontally, and that's your double matting layer for that one. And then you would do the same on your squares or rectangles. So edit, take it down to 8 inward and say OK, and that gives you your inwards. And do the same here, edit, offset, inward, 8, OK. And that gives you double matting layers. Then I'm going to come back out and fit to mat. Now obviously this is too big to cut on the ScanNCut from a piece of 12 by 12. if you rotate it, you could make it this big on 12 by 24. But the way I would do this now is select everything, right click and group, and then I would just size it down to fit on the appropriate size piece of card that you want to use. So I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel if you don't already do so. Make sure you've got the bell notification icon turned on, and that way you'll be notified when I post videos. And then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.